What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have another OU match. This one is against Skyrander, and I am using the same team as I was in the last video just because I wanted to get a little more familiar with the squad. But looking at my opponent's team, he's rocking some pretty interesting mons. He does have the Alakazam, which I assume to be Mega, along with this Shiinotic, the new mushroom thingy. He's got the Oricorio. He's definitely got a couple good Pokemon that I want to see in action. So he also does have the Stoutland, which will take advantage of the Sandstream from the Gigalith, and he's got that Sand Rush ability. So let's go ahead and get this started. He's going to go ahead and stare directly into my soul with those creepy-ass yellow eyes, and he's going to lead off with his Shiinotic, as I decided to lead off with Toxapex. So the main thing that I noticed about his team is that he doesn't have any way of getting rid of Toxic Spike, so that was kind of first priority. So we got our two similar looking Pokemon out here, kind of mushroom looking heads, I guess, but I go for the Toxic Spikes turn 1, and he actually is just going to go directly for the Spore, which is unfortunate because that's going to put me to sleep, and this thing stays asleep for like pretty much the entire match. So unfortunately, I'm only able to get one layer of Toxic Spikes up as of now, but I'll take what I can get. So here I'm going to switch into my Anchorman, bringing out Ron Burgundy, as he's actually going to pull a double switch himself, and he ends up going into his Alakazam, which I wasn't really complaining about. I know I am Assault Vested, so I can take a Shadow Ball pretty nicely, and then be able to hit that thing relatively hard in return. So he doesn't want to take a Ghost Attack, so I predict him to switch, and I'm just going to go for the Gyro Ball as he brings back out Cumberdale, ready to just soak up some balls. So he's going to go ahead and get poisoned. I honestly, the first time I saw this thing, I for sure thought it was Poison type, but it is in fact not. So that's going to do a solid amount of damage there, as he's going to get some leftovers and then get hurt by his poison and stuff. And at this point, I'm kind of going over what this thing likes to do. So far, there's really not a whole lot of competitive moveset strategies out there, so I was kind of thinking about it, looking at this thing's move pool, and it's looking like I should be able to take pretty much any attack it throws at me. So he goes for the Moonblast, and my Assault Vested ass is just going to soak that up, and this allows me to go for another Gyro Ball, and it's going to put this thing almost in range to the point where the poison will kill it. If I would have gotten 2 layers up, who knows, but he's going to get some leftovers, and then the poison is not going to be able to knock him out. But I don't really feel like switching, and at this point, I'm actually just going to stay in here because I know I can still be above half after this next Moonblast, and then I basically get a free kill against his mushroom thingy. So that creepy asshole is in fact dead, and good to see you go. So the good thing about that is he no longer has access to Spore, although Wallington is still asleep, and we'll see how that goes. But now he's going to bring out the Cheerleader Oricorio, and this is probably the best one. I don't know, the Hula Dancing one's actually pretty rad too, but this thing's going to scare me out. I don't want to lose any more health on my Anchor, so I now decide to switch into my Raichu, who avoids a Hurricane like a boss. He was about to ride that shit if it came at him, but he didn't have to bust out the surfboard just yet. So I'm not going to go for a Volt Switch, expecting him to want to switch out so I can get the initiative on whatever I bring in. So he goes into the Vulcan, who is going to activate the Sandstream, which makes this thing really damn cool now. So that's really useful. Good for you, Gigalith. Got yourself a new purpose in the metagame. So Volt Switching out, I get to bring out whatever the hell I want, and I decide this is a good time to bring out my Tapu Bulu, who is going to make it grow grass all over the place, which is pretty nice because it's just like a natural leftovers, so I think that's pretty awesome. So I'm going to get hurt by the Sandstorm, although the Grassy Surge is like, I got you, fam, here you go, and it's going to heal me right back up. So as I was sitting here looking at this matchup and the Pokemon he had remaining, I was like, there's no way he's going to stay in here just to take a Horn Leech or whatever and just die. So I decided to make the over prediction, and I go for the Stone Edge, which does actually do a decent amount of damage to the Gigalith, although he stays in, and a Heavy Slam is in fact going to kill me. So that was really bad. I lost Tapu Bulu for pretty much no reason. I really thought he was going to bring the Oricorio in, so I thought I was going to be all sly and catch it with a Stone Edge, but not what happened. Although at least I got this thing down to red health, so basically whatever I bring in here is going to be able to take it out, and I decide Shred Shoes, like, I'm about to just come out here and catch some waves, bro. So I decide just to go for the Psychic to be able to finish that thing off, although now he decides to switch it out, and he's going to bring out the Lycanroc, who is probably one of my favorite Gen 7 Pokemon. This thing has a pretty badass design. So I go for the Psychic. It's going to do a lot of damage. It's going to definitely be enough for a 2-hit KO, although thinking about it, the reason why he would have switched this thing in, I'm feeling like he's probably Choice Scarfed, and I don't want to lose my Raichu that early, and that's going to lead me to pretty much want to switch out here, as he's going to get over, you know, stand over there getting hurt by his poison. He's at a manageable amount of health here, so I now decide to switch back into Toxapex, who's still sleeping from the very first Spore, and we actually have not burned any turns of sleep, which is pretty crucial. So he goes for the Stone Edge, and that even does a buttload of damage to me. It almost does half, as it turns out that he's actually Life Orb. So at least now I know what, you know, item this thing's rocking, and Life Orb's actually pretty damn good for me because he is going to get Life Orb damage and the poison, although my Grassy Surge is just helping both of us at this point. I'm getting my leftovers and so much Grassy Surge. I'm looking pretty solid, although I'm freaking sleeping over here under my weird little sea urchin thing. And yeah, so he's going to go for a Swords Dance here, which really scared the shit out of me because I was like, please, Toxapex, please wake up here. I really need you to wake up, although I do not. And I was going to go for a Scald there, which would have been able to finish this thing off. I honestly was just sitting in here mashing Scald, hoping I was going to be able to take attacks and maybe potentially wake up and be able to knock this thing out. So the good news is, though, after the Black Sludge and the Grassy Surge, it's looking like I'll be able to take at least one more attack from this thing, assuming Stone Edge is his highest damage attack. So he's out there with his poison, and he's going to go down next turn due to the Life Orb and stuff. So he goes for one last Stone Edge, which I am able to live with 13 HP. And here I was mashing Recover, although I don't freaking wake up. Waking up there would have been pretty damn amazing. I would have been able to be above half and then be able to switch out with my Regenerator would have been pretty awesome. But at least the Lycanroc is going to kill itself, and I don't have to worry about that threat anymore, so that's pretty good. But now he's going to go back into the Alakazam here, and I actually decided this turn to just sack off Toxapex. Honestly, I thought he was just going to go straight for the Psychic, although he actually stays in and ends up going for the Calm Mind, which is pretty damn scary. But I was sitting here at this point, and after this turn, I was kind of like, you know what, after this Leftovers, or this Black Sludge recovery, I'm thinking about it, and once I get my Regenerator, I'm going to be at a decent amount of health, and I think Wellington might be useful for me later on. So I decided to switch out just to activate that Regenerator. My plan was to be able to potentially get a Recover up later or something, but I decided to pull a direct switch into my Marowak, which was probably a terrible idea because at this point, 2 Psychics is going to take me out, but I was weighing my options. I was going to switch, I just didn't know what to sack off, but it seemed like Marowak was probably my best options in regard to like who's most useful, and Marowak, which really wasn't cutting it. So this allows me to now switch into Ron Burgundy, who is Assault Vested, and even with a Calm Mind, I'm still thinking, I'm like, you know what, I should be able to take at least one Shadow Ball from that thing. So I'm just going to go for the Gyro Ball as he brings back in the Oricorio, who is going to take still a lot of damage from that, considering it's not very effective. And seeing him switch out his Alakazam against my Ron Burgundy, I was like, there's something I should save. I should definitely save this for that Alakazam, because the Zam is definitely the biggest threat at the moment. So I now switch in Shredshoe, who takes a Hurricane. He actually ends up landing that one, which is good for him. And I'm just going to go for a Thunder, actually, as he's going to switch out into Vulcan, which is the Gigalith yet again, who should have died way earlier because of Tapu Bulu, but I fucked up, and now he's able to get his Sandstream up again, which is really bad because he does definitely have that Stoutland in the back of his team, which is going to benefit pretty greatly from that Sandstorm. So I get hurt by my Life Orb, a little bit of Sandstorm as well, and I'm figuring at this point he's probably going to bring out that Fat Dog, which he does, and I realized my plan was to save my Toxapex, but I honestly did not account for this thing, so I figure I want to save Raichu for later. It seems like I might be useful. I'm like the fastest Mon on the team, so I am going to switch into my Toxapex here as he goes for the Facade, and that is going to be able to take me out. I was kind of wishing I was like Rocky Helmet or something just to be able to get a little bit of damage, but he is going to get hurt by his poison a tad bit. And I've been saving this Como-O in the back of my team for a time like this, so I'm able to freely switch in this beast, and I'm just going to go for the Changing Scales. I know I'll be able to take at least one attack, so he outspeeds me. I actually live it with 6 HP, did not live that as well as I figured, honestly, but the Changing Scales is going to take care of that thing with a critical hit. I'm not sure if that mattered. I am Choice Specs, so I figured that was going to do enough damage. If not, the poison probably would have cleaned it up, though unfortunately I am going to go down to the Sandstorm, but at least I got rid of the Stoutland. That thing is pretty damn scary, especially when it's in freaking Sandstorm. So now I bring back out my Raichu as he's going to go into his little cheerleader guy. So I am going to be able to outspeed this thing, and a Psychic is going to finish off the weird little Oricorio. I want to see these other forms in action. Honestly, I'm not sure if those things are good yet. Honestly, it's kind of still in the air, but yeah, so I get hurt by a little bit of Sandstorm, which I am able to live with 7 HP, and at this point he's going to bring back out the Alakazam, who's not getting hurt by this damn poison because of his Magic Guard ability. So he goes for a Calm Mind, and at this point I was like, okay, I actually just decided to go for the Volt Switch. I honestly thought that he was just going to be able to finish me off right there. I thought he was just going to attack me. Kind of wish I would have gone for Thunder there just for as much damage as possible, but I guess it doesn't really matter either way. So I am going to go down to my own Life Orb, and at this point the Sandstorm is going to go away. So I only have Ron Burgundy for this thing. This is my last hope, and he told me after the match this was actually a bulky Alakazam set, and it turns out that it is actually a Mega Alakazam. He wanted to keep his original ability, which is why he didn't Mega Evolve earlier, but now he's going to bust out all the spoons, ready to eat all my damn soup. And he's not going to trace my Steelworker, which doesn't make a difference, but there is still a chance that I can live this. He's only +1 special attack. I'm Assault Vested. He told me he's not max special attack, but it is going to knock me out. Just barely. I think there actually was a small chance for me to be able to live that. But either way, that was a really fun match. It came right down to it. Honestly, I thought that was a pretty fun one. This was like the 3rd match I had with this team, so I had a lot of fun in this one. Go ahead and check out Skyrander's channel. He actually did upload his side of the battle. His link will be in the description. But go ahead and leave a comment, guys, about what team is working for you currently if you are playing in the OU metagame. I want to take a look at your guys' teams. I might actually consider taking team requests or something like that in the future, but I'm not sure. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like button if you did, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.